3 years after the Civil War came to an end, Ethan Edwards arrives at his brother Aaron's Texas farm. While Aaron feels a bit cautious about Ethan, who hasn't been around since the Confederate Army surrendered, his children Lucy, Ben, and Debbie are thrilled to see him. Martha, Aaron's wife, is also very happy. There's a clear mutual affection between her and Ethan, although they cannot pursue their feelings. During dinner, they are joined by Martin, their adopted son who is part Cherokee. Martin greets Ethan, but Ethan seems unhappy around him, even though he was the one who found the baby abandoned years ago. Martin and everyone else notices Ethan's disdain for him. As night falls, Martin sits alone on the porch, feeling disconnected from the family due to Ethan's presence. Eventually, he heads to bed, and the other children follow suit. Aaron and Martha then learn that Ethan has a stash of newly minted Northern money. Aaron agrees to keep the money safe for him and tells Ethan he can stay as long as he wants. Despite this offer, Ethan is aware that his stay may not be secure, so he spends the night sitting alone on the porch after everyone else has gone to bed. The following morning, Reverend Captain Samuel Clayton, who is the local minister and leads the Texas Rangers, arrives at the farm with a group. Lars Jorgensen's cattle have gone missing. Clayton appoints Aaron and Martin to join the Rangers' search party. Ethan advises Aaron not to go and suggests he stay nearby in case the cattle theft is a distraction by hostile Native Americans. Clayton is pleased to see Ethan, a former fellow soldier in the Confederate Army, but he also notes that Ethan fits the description of several wanted criminals. Ethan agrees to accompany the Rangers in their search for the cattle, but refuses to pledge allegiance to the state of Texas, insisting that his loyalty to the Confederacy is enough. As they ride out following the trail, Marty attempts to voice his worries about their pursuit to Ethan, but Ethan brushes him off due to Marty's mixed-race background. After several hours of traveling, the group discovers Jorgensen's cattle slaughtered in the desert. They come to understand that a group of Comanche Indians has led them away from their ranches. Since Jorgensen's farm is the nearest, most of the posse decides to head there. Ethan, Marty, and the somewhat unhinged Mose Harper decide to head to Aaron's farm. However, Marty wants to take off right away, while Ethan realizes the horses need a break first. Ignoring Ethan's advice, Martin angrily rides ahead. As night falls, Aaron becomes wary at his farm upon hearing strange sounds nearby. Fully aware of what Mose had warned about the Comanches, he and Martha try to appear calm for the children while Aaron grabs a shotgun, pretending to tend to the hens. Martha begins shutting the windows and turning off the lights. Lucy senses the tension and starts screaming in fear. Martha slaps her to regain her composure and offers comfort. They manage to get Debbie out through a window for her safety as they prepare for what's to come. Debbie runs to a nearby headstone and sits there. Suddenly, a shadow appears above her. It's Scar, the chief of the tribe. He sounds his horn to summon his people. The next morning, Ethan and Mose ride through, spotting Martin, who is looking for a lift. His horse is given out on the way, but Ethan rides past him, followed by Mose. They soon see that the ranch has been burned down and head down to search for any survivors from the attack. Sadly, they discover that Aaron, Martha, and Ben have been killed, and Lucy and Debbie are nowhere to be found. While the funeral was happening and people were singing a hymn, Ethan became frustrated and wanted to get revenge. He told Clayton to shorten the prayer so they could go find Debbie and Lucy. They found a partially buried Native American corpse who had apparently died from being wounded during the attack. Ethan shot the warrior's eyes out to further mutilate the corpse and prevent it from reaching the afterlife. Soon, Ethan found the Comanches setting up camp near a river 20 miles away from where the rest of the posse was. He returned to them and told them they would wait until nightfall and attack them. Clayton didn't think it was a good idea because it could result in Lucy and Debbie being killed. Instead, they slowly snuck in but found that they were gone. As they traveled through the desert, the Comanches tried to set a trap for the posse. They managed to make it to the other side of the river and fought off the Comanches in a gun battle, which resulted in one of them being wounded. As the Comanches tried to gather their dead and injured, Ethan tried to shoot more of them, but Clayton stopped him. Full of anger, Ethan told them he was going alone to pursue them. Marty and Lucy's boyfriend, Brad Jorgensen, wanted to join him. Ethan agreed on the condition that he was in charge. The three of them break away from the others, who head home with the injured member of their group. One night, Brad comes across an Indian campsite and thinks he spots Lucy's unique dress. Ethan informs him that he discovered Lucy's desecrated body in a canyon after they had split up to pursue different paths. Overcome with fury, Brad charges into the Indian camp alone. Marty attempts to stop him, but Ethan restrains him to keep him from pursuing. They soon hear gunfire in the distance, and Brad is quickly killed. Ethan and Marty carry on their quest, but as winter arrives, they lose the trail. They decide to go back to the Jorgensen's ranch. Marty has a fragile romantic connection with the Jorgensen's daughter, Lori. Mrs. Jorgensen hands Ethan a letter from a trader named Futterman, who claims he may have news about Debbie. Ethan plans for Marty to stay with the Jorgensens, but Marty wants to accompany him. The next morning, he finds out that Ethan has left without him. Worried that Ethan might harm Debbie if he finds her, Marty follows after him, much to Lori's frustration. When they reach Futterman's trading post, he informs them that he bought a piece of calico print fabric from an Indian group led by a war chief known as Scar. Marty identifies it as belonging to Debbie. Futterman informs them that she was taken by Scar, the leader of the Nuyeka tribe. Ethan gives Futterman some of the reward money, promising to pay the rest if they successfully locate Debbie. When Futterman offers them a place to stay for the night, Ethan declines, aware that Futterman is just trying to get more money from him. Later that evening, Futterman and two of his accomplices track Ethan and Marty, hoping to claim the rest of the money. However, Ethan is onto their plan. He leaves Marty by the campfire to rest while he hides nearby with his rifle, ready to deal with the men. He kills all three of them from behind and retrieves his money from their bodies. Marty is upset that Ethan used him as bait, but Ethan coolly tells him to prepare to leave. By this point, the search for Debbie has been underway for over a year. Marty writes a letter to Lori, describing their efforts to find her sister. Charlie McCory delivers the letter, and she reads it aloud to her family, recounting the next details of their journey. Ethan and Marty have journeyed from Texas to Colorado and further north. Lori is furious to discover that Marty unintentionally ended up with an Indian bride named Look while trying to barter for blankets with another group of Comanche. Although Marty attempted to send her away, Ethan finds the whole scenario funny. When Look realized they were pursuing Scar, she sneaked off in the night. They later stumbled upon her in a Comanche camp that had been attacked by the American cavalry. Marty and Ethan then went to a nearby fort where white women who had been with the Comanche were being kept after being rescued by the military. They explained to the women that they are searching for a girl who was taken and is now likely around 14 years old. The women bring them to three girls who are the right age but seem mentally unstable due to their past trauma, and none of them are Debbie. One of the girls snatches Debbie's doll from Marty and starts to rock it back and forth, causing Ethan to feel horrified at the thought of what Debbie might have gone through if they find her. Lori concludes her reading of the letter by sharing that Ethan and Marty are heading to the new territory. She vows to give up on Marty, which makes Charlie happy, prompting him to start singing to her. 5 years later, Ethan and Marty find themselves in New Mexico, where they encounter Mose in a cantina. Mose has met Figueroa, a trader who deals with Scar's tribe, and he brings them to meet Scar. Both Scar and Ethan are frustrated to discover that they can understand each other's language. Inside Scar's tent, they see Debbie, who is now a teenager. Afterward, they return to their camp near a creek. Marty asks Ethan if he thinks Scar intends to kill them. Ethan agrees, explaining that Scar has only allowed them to stay alive for now due to the Comanche code of honor. Suddenly, Debbie comes running down a sand dune towards Marty. He pleads with her to remember him, and she insists she does but states that the Comanche are her family now, and she must remain with them. Ethan pulls his gun, ordering Marty to step away from her so he can shoot her, but Marty intervenes. At that moment, Scar's warriors launch an attack, and Ethan is struck by a poisoned arrow. They flee on horseback with the Indians in hot pursuit, seeking refuge in a cave where they use their pistols to fend off the attackers. While Ethan recuperates, Marty takes care of his injuries. Later, Ethan gives Marty a letter to read, expressing his wish for Marty to inherit all his belongings if he dies. Marty is reluctant, as he views Debbie as his next of kin. However, Ethan dismisses that idea, considering her just one of the Comanche now. Marty firmly rejects Ethan's view and tells him he hopes he does not survive. Sometime later, Ethan and Marty go back to the Jorgensen's place, right when Lori and Charlie are about to get married. As they are about to enter the house, Lars tries to stop them, informing them that they are wanted in connection with Futterson's death. He advises them to hide, but Ethan chooses to walk in anyway to greet everyone. Upon his arrival, the atmosphere turns silent. Marty feels hurt to discover that Lori was planning to marry another man, and he is taken aback when he realizes it is Charlie. This leads to a confrontation between the two men, and while neither comes out the victor, the wedding gets canceled. Just when Clayton is about to arrest Ethan and Marty, a young cavalry officer named Lieutenant Greenhill appears with Mose, who had been taken captive by Scar's tribe but managed to escape as they neared the Jorgensen's farm. Clayton regroups his rangers, and together with Ethan and Marty, they set out to face Scar. Ethan is eager to charge into Scar's camp, hoping that Scar will kill Debbie for him, sparing him the pain of doing it himself. Marty convinces Clayton, the leader, to let him sneak into the Comanche camp and save Debbie before they attack. Inside the camp, Marty has to stop Debbie from screaming. Scar, the Comanche leader, enters the tent, but Marty is faster and shoots him dead. Clayton, Ethan, and the other soldiers then charge in, killing or chasing away the remaining Comanches. Ethan finds Scar's body and cuts the hair from his head as a trophy. As Ethan rides out of the tent with the scalp, he sees Debbie running away in the distance. Afraid she's in danger, he chases after her. He pushes Marty aside and follows her close to a cave. Debbie is scared and huddled up when Ethan grabs her and picks her up. He holds her tightly and tells her it's time to go home. Ethan and Marty bring Debbie back to the Jorgensen ranch, where her family, Lars, Mrs. Jorgensen, and Mose is waiting. They take Debbie inside, followed by Marty and Lori. Ethan stays outside for a moment, then turns away and walks off alone as the door closes behind him. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you want to watch more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and see you again soon. Take care.